Everybody, so this video is going to be a bit different. It's a bit more like a vlog, and basically I've got 3 gigs over 2 days. So I had a gig last night, and it went really well, and it was indoors. It's nice. Didn't get home till 3 a.m. It is now 11:15 in the morning, and getting ready to leave for the next gig. This gig's going to be slightly different. It's outdoors. It's going to be a high of -8 degrees centigrade. The stage is heated, but we'll see. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Basically, I've loaded the car up. It's got my Marshall amp in it. I'm taking my Quad Cortex with me. Although I don't think I'll play the Quad Cortex when I'm on this stage. We'll see how heated it is. And then, yeah, I don't know. What do you wear when you play at -8 degrees centigrade?
It's freaking freezing in here, Mr. Bigglesworth.
I've got just jeans and a jumper, a sweater. Yeah, I can't play my guitar with gloves, and I got a hat with me, but we'll see how it goes. Either way, I'll let you know, and if someone else has the same opportunity, maybe I can provide a bit of experience. But yeah, see you in a bit.
So I figured I'd add a bit more detail to this and how all these gigs come about. Basically, we play in the same venues in the small town that I live in Canada, and we play there regularly. At the last minute, we found out that there was an event going on with TSN as a part of the Curling Day in Canada celebrations that they were doing. So they were doing this outdoor gig, and they wanted some local talent, and we were apparently talented enough to take part. This is my car, a bit loaded. Quad Cortex, regular pedal board, Gibson Explorer, my Les Pauls over there, stage shoes. There's a pair of shorts over there too. I don't know if I'm going to need them, but I was regularly playing shorts, cap, and then hat. Oh, and guitar stand. It's going to be cold. Certainly colder than last night, where it was probably about 30 degrees on stage, and I'm jumping around in shorts and t-shirt, so it's going to be a bit different.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Here I am at the venue. It's pretty cold, but in the sun it's quite warm, so we'll see how it goes. Let me flip it around so you can see what the stage is like. So here's the stage, and as you can see, it's set up by TSN. They had a big screen on the left-hand side, and yeah, it was pretty cold. Here's a view from the stage itself. You can see the heaters that we had in front of us. That's a picture of me actually on the stage. Now my girlfriend was, she came along and she got some footage for us, so it's a bit different. You can see that it's set up just recorded on her phone, and this is sort of walk through to where we were actually playing. We're currently playing the little background music that you can hear, and they had like a bunch of like kids stuff going on, as you can see on the screen now, and then stuff about the events in the day up on the screen, the stuff that was going on. This was actually our first song. She managed to make it from her place of work, and yeah, that's us on the stage there. There's some more of us just sort of playing. One of the issues that we had quite a bit was tuning. In these temperatures, just everything just kept slipping out of tune. So even in here, you can see me jumping around. I do jump around quite a bit when we're playing. Most of us do. But when it's this cold, it's really hard to stay motivated and keep jumping around and keep the energy up, especially when your hands are freezing. Strings are going out of tune. We actually had a drum kit break. So we had like a Formula One pit crew come in and change the drum kit for our drummer. Crazy stuff happened whilst we were playing, and yeah, it was hard work. So we actually play just a bunch of covers, and yeah, we ended up, I think there was probably around like 150 people watching us at some point. And what ended up happening was a couple of locals like tagged the bands of the songs that we play, and then shared that on Instagram, and we got kind of lucky in that one of the bands that one of the songs of the bands that we cover, I should say, they actually reshared it, which was really cool. Yeah, we got reshared by by one of the bands, one of the proper bands, and so that was pretty cool.
I'm very important. I have many leather
Cool,
bound.
definitely highlight of the weekend. It was definitely a challenging gig. You can see the cold wind that's blowing up the tablecloth that's in front of the sort of TSN sign there. Everybody is cold. I think some people were dancing just to keep warm, and you can see people's legs moving, but it was just that cold. The heaters did help, but they weren't all that helpful when we were playing. And yeah, just every time that cold breeze would come along, like, guitars would just go out of tune, and it was just tuning mid-song. We'd start playing, I would be singing, and then I'd have to be playing my guitar, realize I was out, even though I was in tuning a few seconds beforehand. Literally stop playing and let the other guitarist sort of carry the song for a bit as I tuned up and then played the song, which really sucked when it came to solos. But yeah, here's some more stuff of what the event was, and then it was a super cool day. Would recommend it. Now on to the evening gig.
All right, third gig in 24 hours. Just heading out to the car this time with a lot less equipment. The rest of our equipment is already at the venue. This time it's indoors, which is probably going to be a bit more comfortable than what we had earlier.
So here I'm at the venue. We had a few hours in between the gigs. I think I got back at 5 p.m. and this is about 9:30 p.m. Just kind of setting up, and I got my quad Cortex playing now this time. This was just before we were about to go on. A couple of friends filming for us, and so here's some footage from their phones and that kind of stuff. Much more different. You can see we're moving around a lot more. It's way better to play in the warm. No drum kit failures this time, no weird tuning issues or anything like that. So yeah, super cool. That's everybody finished. All packed up now. Got this.
So it's a couple of days after those gigs. It was pretty awesome. I will say it was super cold, especially that outside gig. To go from playing indoors and it was 30 degrees, jumping around in shorts and t-shirt till 2 a.m. to drive home, sleep for a bit, and then to go back outside, or to go back and then be outside, I should say, in -8 degrees Celsius. It was a bit of a shock. And then a couple hours later, back up on stage, jumping around in shorts and t-shirt. Good weekend. I will say that the second evening show in the warm temperatures and shorts and t-shirt was far easier than the outdoor gig. The outdoor gig was a lot of work. We were tuning mid-song for most of the songs, especially when those cold breezes came by. We weren't able to sound check. It was literally just turn up, plug in, play. That was tough. I hadn't experienced that before. It was cool. Certainly if there's bands out there and you get the opportunity to be outside, playing outside, it's very good. Even when it is cold, we have played outdoors in the summer. That's been a far easier experience. But yeah, it was good to be part of a bigger production. We made it onto TV. We made it into the local paper, we've had people reach out since and asking us to play more gigs and asking us to do more things. So all in all, it was pretty good. Now, one thing that did happen was I did play through my traditional amp setup. I tried Googling playing the Quad Cortex outside in those temperatures, and nothing came up. So if Neural, or anybody from Neural DSP is watching this, maybe you could answer the question, if I played outside at -8 degrees Celsius, would my Quad Cortex survive? You guys are in Finland, so I know it gets pretty cold up there too. Maybe that could help us Canadians here. But yeah, if anybody hasn't answered that question or has tried it, please let me know, because it'd be cool to find out. But yeah, I just used a traditional amp setup. Reason being, like, didn't know how the Quad Cortex was going to go. I wanted to use I used the Quad Cortex on the Friday night. I was going to use it on the Saturday night as well, and I didn't know how the temperature was going to affect everything. So having two setups allowed me to do that. I actually have 3 setups. So there's like my little backup amp too, which I did have with me. Didn't have to use though. But yeah, I used my Marshall with my foot pedals and all that kind of stuff, which I hadn't done for a while. It still sounded pretty good, but I did miss the Quad Cortex actually, just for like ease, quickness, and just consistency. Yeah, Quad Cortex certainly won on that front. And yeah, like loading cabs and the head and the pedal board, plugging everything in, like way harder than what I remember. And it's only a few months ago that I was doing that regularly at every gig. So yeah, Quad Cortex certainly won that round, if there was a round to win, even though I wasn't actually able to play it up on stage. So maybe it didn't win, but it's certainly easier when you can use it. And given the choice, I would take the Quad Cortex every time, I think now. With that being said though, it was still fun to play behind a, real, or should we say real amp again. But yeah, that was my main difference. The reason why I picked the amp as well was, I don't know, I'm not a scientist by any means, but the amp, with tubes and that kind of stuff, it warms itself up, and I figured that would blast better in the wind than my Quad Cortex, even though the Quad Cortex does get kind of warm when you're playing it. But yeah, phones die at those temperatures and that kind of stuff, and so I figured that the amp would survive or would be better. Again, if Neural DSP or anybody who has experienced the Quad Cortex outside and those temperatures, maybe they could give a shout. That would be cool to hear or to understand that experience. I didn't want to put it out there because I am not that rich, I am not that wealthy, I don't have a backup one, and if I did, then yeah, why not? But like, yeah, I only have one, and plan on keeping it at one, and so that's why I just used it for my indoor gigs. They went really well too. In fact, I had people coming up to me afterwards on the Saturday night and being like, what is that you're using on the floor? And yeah, they were pretty interested to hear what the Quad Cortex was all about. And so I was explaining it to them as well. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I had received comments before, but never specifically to one piece of equipment. It's usually like, oh, what's your rig, mate? Can I play your guitar? And all that kind of stuff. But this was like, hey, that looks cool. What's that on the floor? I play guitar. Not seen one of those before. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, people saying it sounded great and that kind of stuff. So that was good. It's a couple of days out from the gigs. I have lost my voice a little bit. Don't know whether that was the cold temperature. The microphones are really, really cold when right over your mouth, and that -8, every time that cold breeze came over, man, my lips were freezing. There was a guy on before us, as you'll see in the video, who was playing harmonica, and he was saying how bad it was when he was playing harmonica. So yeah, having your lips right up against the mic, that was cold. My hands are really cold. Our bass guitarist, his hands went kind of purple when we were playing. So it was hard. Most of our gigs never feel like hard work. You got to load up and all that kind of stuff. It's part of it, but it doesn't feel like work because it's like enjoyable. You're going to be jumping around, you're going to be having fun, you're going to be making loud noises, and you get paid for it. That's like pretty cool. But this one felt like hard work. It was cold. I still had a lot of fun, and I still, if given the chance that someone was like, hey, can you do that again tomorrow, I would 100% say yeah. But yeah, it definitely felt like a bit more like like work. Everything just moved slower. My hand was moving slower up and down the fretboard. My fingers were moving slower. Like at some points, like when strings would go out of tune, I'd have to like bend it into tune whilst playing, you know, the octave, and that was like pretty difficult. Something I really hadn't experienced all that much before. And yeah, so definitely something to be aware of if you're playing outside. I would say that if you are playing outside, you want to take as many layers as you can, just for, you know, the flexibility. I just took a sweater and a t-shirt, and I was like, that's rock and roll, man. Like, it's cold, but yeah, we're going to jump around and we're going to keep warm by jumping around and performing. I'm not going to wrap up. I was the only one that in the band that did that, but I feel better for it. I don't think I would be able to do all that much standing there in big puffy jackets and that kind of stuff. Actually, the videos that you see of me jumping around, like, I'm not jumping around all that much in the cold. I certainly jump around a lot more when I'm in my shorts and t-shirt and we're warm. But even the video that I kind of put at the end of our performances, that was at like 2 a.m. on the Saturday, so like the third gig. So I was pretty tired at that point, so I wasn't moving around as much. But yeah, it's hard, but yeah, it's good. And yeah, if you get the opportunity to play outdoors and that kind of stuff, certainly would recommend it. Same thing for indoors. Actually, indoors is easier. Take the indoor gig. All in all, yeah, excited for the gigs that are coming in the summer. Hopefully we get some more outdoor gigs, and if we get some outdoor gigs, I'll probably use the Quad Cortex if it's warm enough, within that operating temperature thing that most of these electronic devices have. But yeah, if you guys like this sort of vlog style, like and subscribe, comment, be awesome to hear your feedback. And yeah, I'll keep doing these videos. Anyway, they're pretty fun just to do and to learn about putting videos together and seeing what the response is. But so far the response has been pretty positive, so thank you for those who have responded, who have commented, who have subscribed. I hope to be doing more stuff, but if you want to see more vlogs from, you know, sort of band situations, scenarios, and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, feel free to like and subscribe, and we can go a bit more in depth, and we can go a bit more into presets and all that kind of stuff on the Quad Cortex, and yeah, get some different you know, feedback, even from like the sound guys that have been at our venues. They've been interested in the device too, so maybe we could get one of them to sort of explain what it's like from their perspective too, compared to a traditional setup. But either way, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.